Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Sam Zagar and I am moving on still with the human design and making money conversation. Today we're doing part 6 and I'm going to move into the undefined solar plexus. What is the not self potential? What is the potential not self of the undefined solar plexus? Just because somebody is undefined doesn't mean that they're automatically not self. Not self is one of the potentials of being undefined. Really what we want, what this video's purpose is to help sell you the transformation that is possible within the undefined or open solar plexus center. If the not self of the undefined solar plexus is avoiding truth and confrontation, then what we're going to do if we want to sell to the not self, or sell really to the undefined solar plexus with integrity, we're going to make this something that isn't scary. If you want to profit off of somebody's not self, you're going to make the not self problem a bigger problem. If you want to take advantage of the fact that somebody is avoiding truth and confrontation, what you're going to end up selling to them is the idea that confrontation is painful and that in order to not experience pain, they're going to avoid certain hard or challenging confronting conversations. You know, the interesting thing with being an undefined solar plexus, I have an undefined solar plexus as well. The truth is that it can be incredibly pleasurable to have truth and confrontation. The truth is that it can be pleasurable to have truth and confrontation. It's really hard to get people to believe that, though. Most people are terrified of what lives in the solar plexus. Most people are terrified of confronting the truth. There's good reason for that. The solar plexus is the newest center in our evolutionary development. It is on its way to becoming an awareness center. We say that the solar plexus is both a motor and an awareness center. The truth, though, is that its awareness is still developing, is still in transitus. Beyond 2027, in theory, the solar plexus is supposed to be mutated by then. That changes the way that emotions feel on the planet. Right now, emotions are experienced in a wave by people who have this definition. But Ra says that beyond 2027, the mutation should be done, which means that the solar plexus has the awareness to be emotionally aware, emotionally intelligent in the now. That is our future. That's not where we're currently at. We're currently in the phase of this is new, this is awkward, we don't have a lot of experience with this, it's not fully developed. Truth and confrontation at this point in time is clunky. It's awkward. We have the least amount of experience here. Now, there are a lot of people on the planet who are emotionally undefined. There's even more people on the planet who are emotionally defined. Considering that the solar plexus is the most dominant authority, as in more people have this authority than any other kind of authority, that tells me that there's a big conditioning force. If a lot of people have a defined solar plexus, that means there are a lot of people broadcasting their emotions, conditioning other people with their undefined solar plexus with their emotions. When a big majority is conditioning us, it tells me we need to be conditioned. We need to come to a place of awareness here. This is one of the most challenging, most uncomfortable, most awkward centers to go through. Now, myself as an undefined solar plexus, it was easy to sell to me that avoiding truth and confrontation is good. And it was easy to sell that to me because I was convinced that I would hurt other people's feelings if I was honest. That's the number one terrible marketing. The number one terrible marketing says that not speaking your truth is to somebody else's benefit because it means you're not going to hurt their feelings by saying something emotionally honest and really hurtful. People say they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to make somebody else feel bad. These are lies that we tell ourselves. That's why the core of the solar plexus is the thematic of truth and confrontation. If we're not in this place, if we're not in the truth and confrontation place, we're definitely in the lies and avoiding place. Most people are in the lies and avoiding place. Even though a huge number of people have a defined solar plexus, there are so many people who are disconnected from it, or it's unconscious and their mind doesn't understand what their body is experiencing. There's so much confusion in general about what feels good or what hurts in relation to this. I can understand why this is a very complex center to go through and a very complex center to sell to. When someone tells me like, oh, don't tell them that, that'll just hurt their feelings, they don't need to know that. That's bad. That's not what we're trying to do. No, we're also not saying like, just go tell everybody exactly how you feel all the time and it doesn't matter how it makes them feel. Like, we're not saying go be jerks and that's okay because that's truth and confrontation. What we're saying is have communion. What we're saying is confront the things that you're afraid of. We're saying be honest. There's a big lie in the marketing of the solar plexus. And that is the idea that truth hurts. It is really easy to stay in the not self of the undefined solar plexus if you believe that truth hurts. I believed for a very long time that the truth was going to be significantly more painful than anything else. And it's not just the truth with other people. Like, I really avoided my own truth. Most people think that truth and confrontation means that you need to go have conflict with somebody else. And usually we think that conflict and confrontation is physical, is violent, is abusive. Like, we take the pain portion and we make it feel as big and scary as it can. The hardest thing to do is to start having the confrontation, because your mind is going to tell you, don't do it, don't do it. You're going to hurt yourself, you're going to hurt them, you're going to rock the boat. You're going to upset people. And yet, the more that I started to confront the uncomfortable truths, and really the uncomfortable truths with me before anybody else, the more I could confront my own uncomfortable truths, the more I was able to confront outward truths. Like, a truth in me that needed to be confronted was that I was avoiding a lot of processing. I was avoiding taking a look at myself. I was avoiding being honest about the ways I deal with pain and the ways I deal with pleasure. I wasn't being honest about how I actually felt in certain experiences that I had had. And when I decided to be open, when I decided to be honest, truthful, yes, of course, there was a little bit of discomfort for sure. But it wasn't painful. In fact, relief. That's the most effective, that's the word. That is the word I really want to grab, that I really want to sell. The feeling of relief that you get when you have been truthful with yourself, with somebody else. Because when you lie, It takes so much effort. It takes so much effort to lie to yourself, to lie to other people, to keep track of those lies, to keep track of the narratives, the stress and bandwidth that go with having to maintain this false narrative. That's exhausting. It's so much easier to be honest about everything in your life. And yeah, people, a lot of the times they're not going to like it. And you know who's really not going to like it? Other people that have issues with truth and confrontation. If you're an undefined solar plexus and you start to get comfortable with truth and confrontation, you're going to notice a big change. You're going to notice that people who are emotionally defined in your life, they become more comfortable with you. They trust you more. They can get closer to you. When you're an undefined solar plexus who gets really comfortable with truth and confrontation, it's going to push people away from you who are not comfortable with it. Other people that are not okay with truth and confrontation. Other people that are not honest with themselves in their life. Other people that are really avoiding taking a solid look at themselves. Those are the people that are going to hate the fact that you're going through your truth and confrontation. The kicker is that those are exactly the people that you want to be a role model to. Those are the people that you want to sell to. You don't want to sell to people, oh, don't tell them that. That'll hurt their feelings. Just, take it to your grave. No. What you want to sell to someone with an undefined solar plexus is that telling the truth is the greatest sense of relief, that there is so much pleasure that comes from being honest. That's really what I want to sell you. My transformation with my undefined solar plexus is I don't just burst into tears in every conversation anymore because I'm not immediately overwhelmed with the insecurity that there are going to be punishments and consequences for saying what needs to be said. I can have hard conversations now where I speak my truth. I can also hold space for somebody else's truth to be different in that conversation. I know that it feels so good in my body to just be honest. Carrying around dishonesty, carrying around avoidance it feels like such a shameful burden. I don't have the energy to maintain that level of not self. Releasing things that are not self gives me so much power back because I stay regulated. The benefit of getting through truth and confrontation is relief, is regulation. Like you feel regulated in your body. Your nervous system is regulated. Think about what the solar plexus is attached to for like internal organ systems, like the lungs, the nervous system. Like you're going to breathe better when this isn't a challenge for you. Solar plexus is a sexual pleasure center. You are going to have better intimate relationships with people when you're honest. You're going to have so much more mental bandwidth because you're not afraid of being caught up in the lie or what other people think about what you're saying. Like, man, my nervous system is so calm now because I know what happens to me when that solar plexus takes in. I will say that of all my deconditioning work, the solar plexus is definitely one of the more challenging ones. It still doesn't compare to the challenges I have with my root center. But my mom is emotional, my dad is emotional. There are many people I've been with who are emotional. My closest relationships, like I consistently bring emotional people into my life because I have had a lot to learn. I've had lessons that I really needed to learn there. I don't see my parents as being like really good in their emotional authority. I don't see them as being good examples to have raised me to bring me to the like true self-regulation. I can see that I have chosen romantic partners that are emotional to consistently bring me into the awareness of how I need to develop this. My emotional partners have truthfully done really great work with me. They've really helped me a lot. It's taken me years, though, to get to a place of feeling really well regulated throughout conflict. Conflict does not freak me out the way that it used to. You know, I used to get a text message from someone that would be like, we need to talk kind of thing. And I would spiral. I would have a panic attack. I'd be knocked out for 2 days in anxiety. Now if someone's messaged me and goes, we need to talk, I'm like, what about? What's up? When you call me, you know, like, let's get this over with. That's really how I see it now. I'm like, all right, let's get through this. Let's get over it. Okay, I'm wrapping up the solar plexus here for the day. Tune in next week and you'll get a new one. See you then.